Yes! Hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this free Zoom for our Talk to the Entities project that will start running actually today, but like really take off in the month of May. My name is Yasodhara for you who don't know me yet. I'm one of the Talk to the Entities facilitators. Talk to the Entities is a specialty class that has been, and I have a cat who likes to come into the picture and say hi to you. So, Talk to the Entities is a specialty class that has been initiated by Gary Douglas, the founder of Access, and then picked up on by his daughter Shannon O'Hara, who has been working with this organism and a whole lot of beings to invite a world at a reality where there is a possibility for communion with the spirit world rather than weirdness and fear and rejection. Because what if we all are entities only at the moment we have a body? And so the question is like, would you like, oh, I love that, there's a dog. Would you like to be treated like you are treating the beings that are trying to communicate with you right now? Or are you not being that generous with your capacities to receive, perceive, know, and be because you've bought into the judgments, the points of views, the rejections and separations, but also projections and expectations of this reality? So, oh yes, maybe Eva, could you maybe like paste all the lines again here so everybody has access to them in case they're looking for a language? Um, so, what is your reality at the moment with the world of entities? And so, no matter like, it's always fun. Like, I still like to ask that question because you'll become aware of like, oh, am I truly living my reality? Is there any other perspective available to me that I haven't been choosing yet? What else is truly possible with entities that I've not even considered? Wow. So let's start with that. What is possible with the spirit world and with entities that none of us has yet considered? And so everything that does not allow that for you to start like having a glimpse beyond the curtains. Shall we destroy and create that? Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and pot, all nine shorts, boys, povets, and beyonds. So we're using this little weird, strangely listening phrase maybe for you. The clearing statement, if you want to know more about that tool, it's an access consciousness tool. You can actually go and find your way to theclearingstatement.com. It's a website where this tool is explained, but basically it's a way with which you can rapidly change energies that are stuck and limiting. And so what you can do, even like with positive things, is that you actually ask for everything that is to destroy and uncreate it so something greater can show up. Okay, and then you just say either pock pot, or you can do the whole shebang, right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. Translators, am I really quick? Or is it okay? I was just translating Dana. I was like, oh. Sorry. So if you have any questions, also please raise your hand or put them in the chat. But so why I wanted to do this Zoom is because it's always fun to actually get together and see where we can get to today, what tools we can share, and also to announce this really special creation that wanted to be created with specialty classes. Sometimes people ask me like, so what's the difference between like a normal intro and a specialty intro, and then there's the 2.5 day classes? How does that all like comes together, or like kind of like adds up to each other? And so one of the things that I love about these specialty classes, which came about a few years ago, that Shannon started actually building these topics and then asked facilitators or gave it to us so we can facilitate them, is that it's basically a deep dive into one of the areas where the work with entity can apply. So you have, like, for example, the work with houses. Like, you know, how many houses in the world are either created by a, wow, a group of beings, or have been contributing to the place where you live right now by beings you might have never met, you might have not been related to in any way, but still they are related to your house, or to buildings you're building, or to land you're buying. And so not working with those energies, with those entities, might severely start to influence what you're creating in the world, how you are living there, what is possible for your body. And so we have like parts where there is mental disorders, where there is like more entities and addiction. So there are multiple different ways to start diving into your knowledge, into your awareness, but also start to look at how else could I apply these tools? And so what capacities do we all have in these different areas? That if you didn't have to call yourself like, oh, I'm a specialist with houses, but I'm not a psychologist, so what do I know about how I can change the awareness in the world around, for example, mental disorders? How much more change could you deliver in the world? So let me start asking you, like, what have you decided is your specialty? What have you decided you're good at that always keeps you judging you rather than discovering what are your true capacities through being? And so everything that brings up, will you destroy it and create it? Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and pot, all nine shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. Now, like, I'm like a facilitator of access consciousness who has like a lot of specialties, which is like very fun because they kind of all tie in together and then they're very different. Like in one of the specialties that I facilitate, the X-Men classes, there is this beautiful like tagline: whatever you think you're so wrong at is usually something you're very strong at. So in what area have you, for example, decided you're totally fucked up in? Which also keeps you not receiving from where the entities could start to infuse your life and contribute. Because if it's not wrong, but it's a strongness, like how much like capacities, how much wealth, how much receiving are we all avoiding? So what area have you decided that is totally not your work field? So everything that is, let's destroy it and create it again. Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and pot, all nine shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. Yeah. We could run this for an hour, I think. So let me see, because there were some things. Oh, the link for French traduction doesn't work. Does it?
It works.
It works. Okay, good. So Julie, you have to maybe clear some entities. So this will be an area where entities, for a lot of people, very clearly show up. It's like technology, electricity, because it's easy for them to manipulate. And so manipulation is truly not like what most people use it for. You know, like how many of you have been like badly manipulated and so now you think manipulation is wrong? So everything that is, would you be willing to destroy it and create that? Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Because if you look at the world, like at the words, like in a dictionary, manipulation literally comes from the Latin mani, hands, and pulation is movement. So it's literally moving something with the hands. So what entities will do is like they will try to find ways to reach out to the people that they know can work with them. And what most people on this planet will do is like, or they go into like, so at what age I love somebody's like pointing like at her friend who is like sitting like this in this Zoom call, like, oh my god, why am I here? I hope your friend got you like a lot of wine and stuff like that, at least. Oh, good, like chocolate. If your friends get you in trouble to more awareness, they should be treating you very well. Cool. Manipulation is not wrong. What? Yeah. Well, like, what if it's just like what if nothing was wrong and nothing was right? I've seen a lot. Like, there is like this kingdom of spirits. Like, as we have as many differentiating like viruses or bacteria or people on the planet, what if there were as many different spirits? And so, where have you been trying to treat every spirit the same? So you'd find like an automatic response system and you didn't have to be aware, rather than making the choice and commitment to being present as you in your life and create with no matter what energy comes and crosses your path. And so, what I've seen a lot in classes, but also in sessions, was that people had the point of view, for example, that some entities that were annoying or demons were like bad. So, there is this huge amount of judgment that gets added to those beings rather than just looking at, okay, so what kind of being am I dealing with? What is their agenda? And is that an agenda that I desire to see on the planet? Because, like, if you look at demons, they're very much into destruction. Now, that's amazing for people that like to destroy themselves. But like, if that's not what you're looking at creating on the planet and in the universe, like, you might want to start clearing those energies. But if you didn't have to judge them and you could just get to work towards moving forward towards the world that you desire to live in, how different would that be? So, what beings have you been taught to judge? Or have you started judging because everybody else does? And with that choice for judgment, is that where you are empowering yourself or where you are limiting yourself? And just like whatever I'm asking you, don't believe anything I say, just look at what's light for you. Right and wrong, good and bad, fucking bottle, nature's boys and beyond. So can somebody like, again, I have to learn not to do everything myself. Can somebody again like post the links with the translation? Some French people are not finding the way. How does it get better? I'm a little low volume? Am I? Let's see what I can change. Is this better, Noah? Yes, it's better. Okay. Cool. All right. Thank you, Eva. So, where do we go from here? So, let me just give you like the basic clearings, which is going to be fun because then everybody for the specialty intros will have them. And I know many of you have these tools, know these tools, but basically there is like, if you want to clear entities, like most entities, if they want to be cleared, will go if you do the basic entity clearing, which goes, who are you? Who were you before that? Who were you before that? Who were you before that? Until there is like this energy shifting and who will you be in the future? Now, there is a second question you can add. What are you? What were you before that? What were you before that? What were you before that? And what will you be in the future? And there is a third one, like, what is your job? What were all of your jobs before that? Before that, before that, before that, and what will all of your jobs be in the future? You can go now, take your luggage with you and all your magnetic imprinting. Right and wrong, good and bad, book and pot, all nine short boys and beyonds. So that's basically how you clear most entities. You can use that like anywhere, and I would strongly suggest you, if you're on this call, I see many of you have like been doing, I know you've been in classes, but don't underestimate like these tools. And if you're here for the first time, like, why not start playing with this tool? Why not start just like clearing and see what shows up after a few days? Maybe things will change that you thought were totally not related to the spirit world. And then suddenly there is this sense of lightness and space. You're like, oh my God, like how many things have I been misidentifying and misapplying? So are there any questions for tonight or something that we like? I see there's also like some co-creators. Yes, who's gonna talk? We got a ghost online, Natalie. Cool. And so please, we have like some co-creators also on here. If there is any questions that you want to ask or that people have been asking around you, unmute yourself, ask them, so I know which direction we can go with this. And so also to all the beings, because we're not alone. Like basically none of us are ever alone. Oh, everything that brings up for all of you. Would you be willing to destroy it and create that? Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and pot, all 9 shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. Oh, somebody's asking about the povats. The povats is the points of views you're avoiding and defending. It's a new thing that has been added to the clearing statement. Yeah, so it's all the points of views that we are avoiding and defending. So how many points of views are you all defending and avoiding in regards to entity awareness? Ooh. And so everything that is, will you destroy and create it? Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and pot, all natures, boys and beyonds. And whose points of views are you avoiding and defending in regards to entities? Gosh. And everything that is, will you destroy and create it? Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and pot, all natures, boys and beyonds. How many points of views of your parents and family are you avoiding and defending at the same time in regards to entity awareness? And so everything that is, will you destroy and create it? Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and pot, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And how many points of views of this reality are you avoiding and defending in regards to entity awareness? Everything that is, right and wrong, good and bad, puck and pot, all 9 shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. I think you're asking about the povats, Marisa. I would just be in the question, and yes, it's gonna be added everywhere. As you see right now, just running these few clearings, do you notice how much energy there is? How many points of views most people have that they are defending or avoiding? Like, you know, like, oh, like even the people that are very used to working with entities, how many times do you perceive in their world that there is a rightness, that there is a point of view they're defending about entities, and not so much like everything is an interesting point of view? So we have 2 questions. We have one question from Dua, and we have one question. I often forget povats in the clearing. Am I? I'm a bad girl. It's very new. I do my best to have them on. It's very new. It's still like a little clumsy. Oh, there is one. Okay, so let's go first to which one do we do first? Like, okay, Diana, you go first. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So in the German chat, someone asked, where do I recognize entities, or how do I know that there is an entity? Also, woran erkennt man Entitäten?
Yes, so basically you ask the question, is this entities? Is this an entity? And then the spirit world is way less solid than any rightness we are often looking for. So you know how most of us have been like waiting for an answer. That's usually not how entities communicate. It's more about going to start tapping into, okay, so if I ask that, is that light or is that heavy? Whatever is light for you, whatever has a sense of lightness, that is what's true for you. Whatever is heavy, it is not what's actually true for you. So if you ask it and it becomes heavy, there's probably something else going on. Okay? So do you want to go to your question straight away, Diana? Or was it just a question from a participant? It's good. We're good, I think. Okay. Dua, you want to come on, darling?
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you, Yasa, for this evening.
So
I have taken the foundation and they have done the questions for the entities and original occupants. And whenever I ask if there is still entities around or somehow around me. The answer is light.
Yes.
So yes. So
Where
what
are you
do I
from?
do with them? Saudi Arabia.
Saudis always come along, right? They don't have big families. And thank you so much for bringing this up, because that's literally like an illusion. Like, I've seen myself live for a very long time, but also so many people that I've worked with and coming to classes literally thinking that they have to be alone rather than having an eye on, like, okay, what if none of us was ever alone? And what if that shouldn't be a problem? What if the only way for that not to be a problem is actually us starting to become aware of, if we're dealing with people, who are they coming with? And is that going to work? Because like most, you know how you start, like you see somebody and you think you're going to have a relationship with them and you completely block out every awareness that does not match what could possibly like create something that's not really contributive. And so we see this person, but like what most of us will do is start zooming into who that person is and who they should be, rather than actually zooming out and being aware of like all the energies they come with. Imagine we would step into every relationship from total awareness and the willingness to perceive everything, know everything, be everything, receive anything without a point of view. And so it's really cool because like what it's tying into, like, so part of it is like walk-ins, what you're addressing, which is one of the calls we will do. Special, I actually will do two. I will do one Dutch for the Dutchies, and I will do an English one. It's one of my favorite topics. Where for a lot of people, it's basically where you have a switch between beings, but the body stays the same. Although the body will often dynamically change when there is an other being contributing their energy to that body. And I think it's an incredible capacity that we have as human beings, although it's a reality that few people are willing to embrace and truly create from magic with. Although most people will actually acknowledge when somebody has an accident or nearly died and then they didn't and they changed. Most people around those people will actually be talking about that person. Oh my God, they changed so badly after that cancer or after that accident, or like it's a totally different person. And you'll hear everybody usually address what is going on, but then since that doesn't match their box of reality, they will not be willing to receive whatever comes with that and the gifts of that. So now it's just either it's more right when it becomes a better being that's working better with the family, that's working better with the business. So it becomes a better, like the person changed for the good. Or if it starts to destroy a marriage, or it starts to destroy the body or a life, it's like this negative judgment where this, like, you know, the person will, like, that choice will get us judged as like something that became worse, rather than embracing and receiving the choice that were made on a being level, and then having the willingness to create a entirely different relationship with that person, with that body, and whomever is in it now. And so it is incredibly, like, it can be incredibly healing also for bodies if there is really something on, like, that's how I started working, because I was intrigued about this whole, I heard about this and I was like in the foundation, I was like, this is like so weird, but it's also exciting. So I started to ask for clients who were dealing with this, and usually they had like pretty bad accidents or those kind of things. So they would come for a body session to change something with their body, and then I would start working on the body, and the body was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was like, okay, what's this? Nah, nah, nah. There is so much more change available. And then I was like, oh my God, is it this thing like walk-ins? Like, how do we deal with this? And so the more I worked with it, the more I started to see, like, oh, but it's not only with accidents, it's a magical reality we all have available, which few people are willing to have. And so what most people will do once they think like, oh my God, I'm a walk-in, I need to start clearing like crazy. So they'll start clearing and clearing and clearing and clearing. And then, like, if it's really a walk-in situation, like either it's cleared and it's gone. If it's not really going, it might be because there is like an awareness still to be received, or sometimes also something like a being that belonged to the body before is still like needing from you. And that can be simple way like somebody stepping into a body and the being that used to live there before needing a promise that you will take care of the family or their kids or their moms. And so I like, if this is pinging you, I would like strongly suggest you, and you don't have to take my class with walk-ins, but like go and take a walk-in class, because it's such a journey that's going to invite you in your body to something different, to the magic rather than the wrongness. Because a lot of people do a lot of wrongness when it comes to entities. Also when it comes, like not even with bodies, but like when entities and children, entities and mental disorders, entities and houses, there is so much like wrongness in like, and sometimes it's very clear, and so often it's like this subtle thing that needs to change rather than be received. So where have you been needing to change things in your life, which kept you always looking for the wrongness of you rather than looking at if this wouldn't have to change, but I were willing to receive a different possibility, what else could show up? And so that's truly something that's available through consciousness for all of us. And whatever this wrongness and fixing reality is has been so freaking vast. Like, so fast. And then, well, you come from Saudi. It's already like, it's a miracle you're here. It's a true miracle, because like in Saudi, you can still like flow into prison for actually talking about this. It's very funny. Like I did a class there last year, and like my translator told me, like when I was talking about it in a body class, like, ooh, like be a little aware, because like if there is like any police officer here in this class, they could put you into jail. And I was like, okay, is this gonna happen this class? It's not really light. Okay, then we can keep going. But there is this whole like layer of conclusions and hidden energies. But is that truly what's going on a being point of view? Or is that like a total like delusional reality of points of views that the government tries to put on? And so what are they avoiding and defending with that? You know, because if that got unlocked, how much more powerful would Saudi be as a nation? As a nation. Because how many beings could start thriving and working for the land in ways they could not before, because most people are not choosing to receive and more invested in accommodating to the wrongness that they have been subjected to by government rules.
Wow, you have answered the questions that have been in my mind today. So what if this is a gift? It's not a wrongness, because immediately I went into the wrongness of myself. And
well, so can I ask you a question? Wait.
Yeah.
So did you go into the wrongness, or were you aware of like the judgments other people had in their worlds around this topic?
Oh yes, definitely the judgments.
Good. So yes. You want to be aware, for all of you, you really want to be aware. You are, most of the times, like how many of you know you're so aware about what other people think? Like even if they don't say it out loud, like a particular topic comes up and you'll pick up on all their thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And then if it's you asking the question, it becomes even like more, because then it seems to be projected at you. But like, you know, what if it was just their universe? And so now you start going like, oh my God, I went into so much wrongness, and you cannot get to change it because it's not yours. It's just you being aware of whatever points of views, judgments they had about entities, about like, oh my God, you want to say that like somebody else could walk into my body. People do all this kind of weird things. 90% of the time they want to get rid of their body, and then 10% of the time when it comes about walking, they're like, you mean like somebody else could take my body? It's like, you know, you have this boyfriend you don't really like, but then unless somebody else suddenly likes it, then you like your boyfriend. You're like, don't touch him, but you don't even like him. You've been trying to get rid of him in all possible ways, and now somebody else wants to steal him, and you're like angry? That's what most people do with their bodies.
Wow.
Oh,
Thank you.
Wow.
Can I add one last thing?
Yes, please. I like this goal.
I think that there is another reason for resisting is trying to be normal instead of being the weirdo who can, communicate and accept and allow all. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Witchcraft is legal this lifetime, guys.
Which one?
Witchcraft is legal, but it doesn't totally count for Saudi yet. So, like, for most of the parts of the world, witchcraft is legal. One of the ways to go around, like, people not seeing you as crazy is becoming way too rich. That's something you, like, if you really want to start working with this, it might be interesting to start looking everywhere you've been doing this spiritual poorness, which kind of makes people look at you as if you're crazy when you're really good with entities, because that's what most people will do. They go crazy with entities. They don't choose their power. What will it take for you to be an authority? Right or wrong, good and bad, fucking pot, all nine choice points. What will it take for all of you to be like an ambassador and an authority for a different reality? And so, yeah. And I'm not saying like do be aware, right? Like in some countries you might want to be aware about what you speak about and like how you can speak about it. So it's going to become this invitation that's irresistible rather than something that's going to be fought like against. But like if you're willing to be aware of that without sizing yourself down, I wonder what you will be able to create as you and for you that will inspire others to find that energy through you of consciousness. Because that's what, like, like I'm one of the mouthpieces of this work, which makes it available to some people where if you talk about it, it will be available to some others. And that's how all of us can generate this energy into becoming more and more generative and more powerful. So thank you for your questions. Awesome. And like I would say, jump all on the walking call. It's so every single class is such a treat. Like I keep loving to give them because it's like it's one of the weirdest classes, I think. And it's like super fun. So let's see. We have some questions here. Dun 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 dun. It's so great with the poets. Yes, it is. So Caroline is asking, I have been the last, oh my God, let's see if I can translate today. Lately I've been so angry and fearful for that anger. It's as if suddenly it's very busy around me, as if there is a lot of negative energy that kind of gets like fired towards me. I have tendency to think it's mine, but that feels very heavy. So how do I recognize that what is mine and what's an entity? I get like entangled in the questions. So what can I ask to get more clarity and to get more ease with this? Making me like very like sad and heavy. Yeah. So it's from Nicole, I think. Are you the two ladies together? Is that what's going on? Yes. Okay. Awesome. the chocolate ladies. Well, so it's not because you get angry that it's necessarily angry entities around you. So that's one of the first things. Like, we'll do all this kind of thoughts, feelings, and emotions that are more like a catalyzation of like, or like, not really a catalyzation. It's more a translation of like energies we're aware of. So you also want to be aware it's not because you're angry, that it might be like frustrated entities. It might be just like a shitload of entities. So is that a way, Nicole, in which your awareness of entities shows up through anger? She's smiling. So yeah, that can be one of, and it's like, it's easy because like, what if now you actually get to know like, oh, I'm angry again. Like, I wonder who's here. Like, who's here? What do you require? Yeah. So everywhere you've made your anger wrong, will you destroy it or create it? Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and pot, all nine shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. What if actually you required that energy once in a while to actually be able to change the energies you're running into? Anger is just anger because we make it that. What if it's just an energy? Now, how much energy is there often in anger? That if you would like learn how to utilize that energy without taking the anger, would make you one of the most potent beings you have ever been capable to be through any lifetime. Ooh, oh my God. Now it's becoming fun. Right or wrong, good and bad, fucking blood, all nature's boys and girls. And I think you can already see like one of the gifts of these entity classes. People always think it's only about ghosts, and then they're like, no, it's not really my thing, I'm not going to choose it. And I know almost no other area in which you are gonna craft your being into infinite power and potency. It's incredible where you'll get tools and tricks and energetics, like practicing of pathways that will make you show things for most people about themselves, what they already knew they were looking for in themselves, but then you find it through this like totally like weird way of starting to communicate with ghosts. Like, who would have thought? So yes, so you like, I would say like, stop thinking. And what if nothing ever was yours, Nicole? Have you been doing some access, or is this like one of the first things you're doing with access? Because I'm not really sure. She's writing now, I think, or she's gonna unmute. Yay, do I? Okay, we have question in French, question in German.
Bars en body process gedaan.
Oh, you're very quiet. You've done bars and body processes?
Ja, en facelifts en nou ja, entiteiten probeer ik wel wat te clearen. En dan wil ik toch wel even liften. Maar het is, die boosheid is er zo weer. En ik maak mezelf daar echt ontzettend verkeerd. Ik ben daar echt geneigd om onder een steen te gaan liggen. Van help.
Ja.
Cool. Die keren dat ik dan... Ja, ik twijfel eigenlijk continu van... Ik maak mezelf daarin verkeerd. Maar ik weet dat ik daar wel een kracht in heb. Want nou ja, dat heb ik gewoon ook al een aantal keren ervaren. Dat ik het wel kan. En inderdaad wat je net zei van... Ik weet heel vaak dingen die anderen niet weten.
Yeah. So I'm just going to translate because otherwise my translators are going to get lost. So she's saying like, well, I have been doing body processes and facelift classes and all kind of different classes. And so I clear entities, but that like anger keeps coming up and then I want to like lay down under a stone and not having to do anything with that. But I know that I know things sometimes that other people don't or don't want to know. Yeah. So I would like to really start to ask also every time you get that anger, like, is this anger or potency?
Ja, potentie like, krijg ik dan gelijk in mijn hoofd.
Exactly, so potency. She's like, straight away, she's like, oh, it's potency. Yes. So what if you start to ask from there now, and this might be like, how many of you are more accustomed to the feelings and emotions than through the energetic truths? Oh, so what are you avoiding and defending with your feelings, thoughts, and emotions? And everything that is, will you destroy and create all of that? Right or wrong, good and bad, puck and pot, all 9 shorts, boys, poets, and beyond. Oh my freaking God. Thoughts, feelings, and emotions, like going on whatever that is, what if it always leads you away from you, but also from communion and receiving with the whole? And it's a very quick run and it's very strong usually. Like, you know how like thoughts, feelings, and emotions are so strong? You really have to become stronger to not get carried on that road. Because it's like, it's so attractive and disgusting at the same time. So, oh wait, yes? Your microphone is really like, we cannot hear anything.
Drown in my thinking.
Yes, exactly. So I would say, what if next time you stop and you ask, is this anger or potency?
Mm-hmm.
And then start asking like, okay, so how do I create with this potency? Rather than actually destroying myself with the anger. And it's not, because you like, through asking that question, how can I create with this potency? You like, that will be where you start busting these cracks open and the universe can start contributing. Like this whole work of access consciousness is not about you asking questions and then a facilitator or somebody else coming and giving you an answer about how to fix a problem you have. This is truly about starting to craft your capacities with energy. And so if you have this bunch of energy that up until now, maybe since the age you were 3, was anger, and they're like, Carol, like, Nicole, why are you so angry? Oh, you're angry again. And like, here you go with that bunch of potency. Now, only having trained yourself to channel that to anger or fear. Like, fear is then like even a better option, because then everybody runs and comes help you. If you're fucking angry, everybody's just gonna judge you.
Ja, ik was inderdaad als kind al wel iemand die de vinger wees op de zere plekken. En dat werd niet altijd gewaardeerd.
Yeah, so as a kid, I already like put my fingers on spots where nobody wanted me to put the fingers. Yeah, yeah.
Maar
So,
die angst, dat vind ik zo lastig. Hoe
It's
kan
the
ik
same.
dat...
Ask, is this angst, or is this like fear, or is this a potency?
Nou, dan is het wel angst, krijg ik dan.
Okay, so is it fear or excitement?
Excitement.
Good. And I would say, like, if this is really a big part of your life, start looking maybe either into taking a Talk to the Entities class, like a full class, or take a foundation, because you'll learn about the distractor implants, or you can actually buy the book, Living Beyond Distraction. Yeah, it's in English. It's an amazing book where like fear and anger are 2 of like major distractor implants.
Ik heb hem in mijn kast staan. Ik heb hem nog niet gelezen, maar ik heb hem in mijn kast.
Don't read it. Don't read it. She's saying I have it in my cupboard and I didn't read it. So don't read it, Nicole, okay? Whatever you do, don't read that book. Yeah, it will give you a lot of insight.
Oké, dankjewel.
Thank you so much for your question. Oh my God, was this a free Zoom? I love it. So how do you discover if it's from a living person or an entity? You ask. And can I? Sorry, I'm reading like super quickly. Sorry, translators. I think we tackled that, right? I think we tackled your question for the rest. So Angelique is saying new being here. It's awesome. Awesome class. Month before the walk-ins, chose class, during class question when you're locked. Okay, good. I'm not really sure, but yes, the walk-in class will be half of the month. I'm mumbling, sorry. What question can I ask? With bars class, entities, no paying participants. Yeah, so do you have to work more with the entities? Angelique is doing something. She's like, I don't know what this, like, is it a yes? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it was a Dutch yes. I was like, it's a yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So get to work. Like start asking, okay, so how much more would I have to work with them?
Even more.
Well, I'm asking you, like even more?
Yeah, more play.
Okay, good. Yeah. Do you like people?
Mwah.
Right or wrong, good and bad, puck and puddle, nine shores, boys, povats, and beyonds. Are you asking for enough?
Oh, now I get a blank.
Yeah. So what is it that does shows up that you're asking for that you're not acknowledging? That if you would acknowledge it, would allow you to start choosing and asking more precisely for what it is that you desire.
Thank you.
And everything that does not allow that, will you destroy it and create it?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and puddle, nine shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. Yeah. And so everywhere you think money only should come from entities. Don't know why I'm asking you that, but
That's okay. That's interesting.
for all of you, shall we destroy it and create that?
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and puddle, nations with this. Oh, thank you for bringing that up. I'm not gonna say you do that, but there's a lot of people that do this give and take reality with entities, and like one of the things with entities and making you money, it's usually working way better from the universe of gifting and receiving.
Can you explain more about that?
Yeah, so how many people have you met in Access also that will do like, oh, I've been clearing an entity, so now bring me the money.
Okay.
So it's this transactional thing where they're only willing to do the work if they get paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not really willing to receive the gift of what they just accomplished with clearing. And so
Okay.
it
Yeah.
becomes this whole like torn place from which like receiving can never really occur. And then there becomes this world of like a lot of expectations and projections and judgments and conclusions and calculations, because it's more controllable than a universe in which you would never know where something came from. You would just know that it came, that it will come.
Yeah. Yeah.
So everything that brings up for all of you, woo, everywhere you've been doing transactional rather than magical. Shall we destroy and create all of that?
Yeah.
Right or wrong, good and bad, fucking plot, all natures, boys, poets, and beyonds. Now, also, what you could look at is like when you, for all of you, if you are working, and we're gonna do like the last class I think we're gonna do is like entities and money. I'm gonna do a little bit of promo in between, right? But like what you could start to look at is also like, what are you doing business for? Like whatever you're creating with your business, what are you doing it for? And then get really honest. Like, because sometimes you might see that you're doing things for the money, and that's absolutely not wrong. But it's more like, how much magic are you dismissing when you fall prey to doing things for the money? That
Yeah.
if you would stop dismissing the magic you're creating anywhere in your life, would open up the gates to infinite gifting to being and receiving through being.
Thank you.
So everything that is, will you destroy and create it, right and wrong, good and bad, fucking plot on nation. Oh yes, we will have like the one in Slovenian translated. So we will have like during this month, we will have like 10 specialty calls. We will do 1 2.5 day class. And so I will have two more 2.5 day beginning classes, one in May, one in June, one in Israel, the one in May and online, and one in Slovenia and online. And then there will be all this different specialty classes, also interviews I will do. And so if there's enough people, we can also translate them in other languages, but like most of them have one language added. So that's that. Now we have time for one more. We have one question. Okay, we have time for 2 short questions. One on the French, one on the German. Yes? So Laurence.
Okay, so I read it in French. Okay. Donc,
Yes.
comment faire la différence entre nos guides et les entités? Et quand je demande s'il y a des entités, c'est toujours léger. Il y a des entités plus dérangeantes que d'autres. Je sais qu'il y en a une quand une odeur dérangeante est présente, odeur de chien mouillé, de poubelle, de graisse. Est-il possible d'avoir toujours des entités près de soi? Okay, so in English is how to make the difference between the entities and our guides. And when I ask if there is entities, it's light. And there is some entities who are not comfortable actually, and I know when there is entities because I get some
She just literally said like there is one that smells like wet dog, and then there is another stinky one.
Yes.
I used to make that joke like a long time ago, like just make sure like to always be washed in case you die, like, you know, you're fresh. Because also smell might stay. Yeah. So you might want to start talking to them, like, you know, and it's like some entities might belong to the place where you live. And so you'll have to see how you can kind of basically create with them if they don't want to go, or how you're going to do it, right? Like how you're going to, like last year I did like a 2.5 day class, and there was a woman who had like a property in Dubai somewhere or in the Emirates, and she couldn't start building. And so we started looking at the land, and what was literally there were some old tribes that had totally squatted that land since ever. And so whatever she was doing there was never going to work unless she started communicating. So during the class, we started looking at what they wanted. And like a whole bunch of them wanted to leave, but then there was this one being who didn't want to leave. And he was just like, no, this is my land and I'm going to stay here. And what we did was looking at, okay, so if you're not going to go, like, are you aware that we're building a house here? There was all this kind of technologies that we use today to build houses that guy had never heard of, right? So we had to kind of see like, okay, so where can we put him on the land that allows him to be happy, to create his reality in whatever like time zone dimension he's functioning from, but also like that he can contribute to everything what you're going to start looking at and where you can contribute to him. And it was magical because it was like, so once she started to ask, it was so clear. And she also had no need to actually build where he wanted to be. And so it was more this kind of fusion of different realities that could start to exist together. And so what if that's a total possibility that we can have, where there is a fusion of multiple realities and dimensions that your body will be aware of them. So why not creating with that? And so about the guides, I would wonder, like, do you need a guide, or can you like have beings that create with you without you losing leadership over your life? Because what a lot of people will do with entities is that they think they need guides because they don't really know where they're going. Would an infinite being ever not know where they're going? So that's the guide thing. Diana?
So I had two questions, but you said only time for one. So wie erkenne ich, dass ich wirklich allein in meinem Körper bin und die Entitäten alle gegangen sind? How do I recognize that I'm really alone in my body and all the entities are gone?
You ask, but I would also ask, is it relevant? Is you being in your body working for you? Like, you can forever like look for perfection, which is, most people are not looking for perfection. They're just looking at like cleaning themselves and getting rid of problems rather than having so much fun with their bodies and their lives that they don't have time to like worry about heady questions. So, but if you want to have more clarity, like maybe it's also like, I wonder why you're asking the question. Is it also because you have an awareness about a capacity you and your body have? And so if you wouldn't get into your mind, what is it you can learn and maybe even must learn for you to have total clarity and ease with that? I'm excited for you. Oh my God.
It was not my question, it was a question for a participant. No?
I know.
Okay.
I'm excited for her or him. But so I would say, like, why don't you, like, oh, we're gonna do, like, it's interesting because, like, we have a German call, which will be, like, German and Italian, like, relationships and entities. You might want to see, like, is it this domain or is it more the walk-in domain? Because, like, there was also an interesting thing, like, well, maybe, like, how many, like, entities are you in relationship with that are, like, kind of, like, influencing your body because you're not willing to be the leader and knowing what you're knowing? Ooh. So everything that brings up for all of you, will you destroy and create it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, poke and bottle, name shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. And so how many entities are you in relationship with? And have you been willing to be aware of that? Or have you been pretending everything goes as you want it to go? Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. So everywhere you've been pretending that everything goes as you want it to go, so you could ignore your gifts. Would you be willing to destroy and create all of that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, old age, shorts, boys, poets, and beyond. Oh my God, what is this called? Shebang, we just did this. You want to, like, Diana, we have like 4 more minutes. Do you want to do the other question too, like to end?
Okay, she just said she has a fear to release them, these entities.
Yeah.
Or she's frightened to be alone.
Well, that's usually a good invitation to not let go of anything. It's the fear, you know, how people use that as a avoidance or a defense to not change anything. But if there's other beings included in anything, it might also not be yours. Like, you know, how when you're in a relationship and like you're scared that the other one will leave, like how much is that 99% of the times them being scared that you will leave? But then you don't acknowledge that, so you can be pathetic and fearful and not a fun partner that's clingy, rather than be the most sexy goddess or god that would be desired by all and never dependent on anyone. Oh my God. When are we doing like the relationship and entities?
16 Mai, 16. Mai.
16th of May, okay. I'm warning you, that call might completely change your family for the better or the worse. So now would be an appropriate moment actually, right? To like name on all the specialty classes, and then I'm like, let me see if I can actually get this to work. Maybe. So we have a whole lot of classes coming up. We will also, like, one of the things that I'm going to do is that I'm going to hop on, there is a calendar which we will send to you, but I'm going to be hopping into the Facebook group of Talk to the Entities with some colleagues every few days to have a conversation and an interview with them about how they've been using these things to change like addictions, to change like psychotics, to change their bodies, to change money. But then on the first, we will start with actually entities and houses. It is supposed to be in French, but we can also do it bilingual. So if you would like to know more about clearing houses and land and entities, you can sign up for that. What else do we have? We have then, if you have done the beginning class, we are going to start for 4 weeks again, the office hours, where we will get twice a week together and start to generate, create, and institute, like working with entities. But you have to have done the beginning class before you can start. Then we have the first walk-in class on the 5th, online in Dutch. Then on the, this is interesting. The 7th, is that then correct? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, the 8th, we have mental disorders. And that's actually going to be in my house in Belgium. So if you want to come over, you're very welcome, but also online. Then we will have creating with entities on the 10th, which will be in English and any language required. Then we will have on the 11th, we will have the walk-ins class in English, which can also be translated. We will have the children and entities. Is that on the 12th? Am I correct, ladies from the Netherlands? In Dutch, kinderen en entiteiten. But it could also be in English and bilingual. Then we have the 16th, entities and relationships. Yes! Then we will move to Israel. So 20, 21, 22 for the beginning class, online and in Tel Aviv. And then on the, 24, 25, 26, 27th, we will have birth and death. An incredible call for more clarity on choosing a body, leaving a body. Gosh, really crazy call. The 30th will have money and entities, French and English. And the 31st, we will have communicating with entities, specialty. But we will send you this little like amazing calendar that Anna Maria made. So you can have some clarity and follow up and come and join the Zooms that we do in the group. The 13th March. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah. So what else is possible? I hope the Zoom was a contribution. I think we shifted like some universes, not only for us, but also for the beings. Thank you so much, Eva, for like being my night rider in the dark, just like setting my crazy ideas up, and Ilse and Yvonne for like having our backs also in the back end. And then to all the incredible creators that we will be working with this month, and translators, thank you so much. I hope to see all of you soon. For the Slovenians, we will be in Slovenia 1, 2, 3 July, right? Am I correct, Barbara? Micha? Yes, okay, cool. So 1, 2, 3 July, it's right before the advanced class. Shannon will also be doing like a new class that used to be a class, the intermediate class online in May. If you've done a beginning class, it's like a follow-up telecall that she's gonna do that's kind of new, but it's not new. And then in July, she will do the summit in Paris. So it's an advanced class and a facilitators class. So there's a whole lot of stuff with entities to choose this month. I'm so grateful for all of you. Thank you so much. And have an amazing night. Thank you, translators. Bye. Thank you, all of you. Bye-bye.